So in this Cinema 4D tutorial, we're going to talk a little bit about how to place your logo onto an object and the different ways in which you can do that, and it can be a little bit frustrating. So we're just going to dive right into it. Let's grab a sphere, and already down here I've got a couple materials loaded. But what I'm going to do is show you a couple different ways to do this. So let's create a new material. I'm going to turn off specular, and I'm going to just load in this New Balance logo. Alright, and because it's a PNG, keep this in mind, all I get is this black right here. So it's kind of useless to us. But it still is doing something. It still is coloring the object. So what we're going to want to do, though, in order to get this to show up, is we're going to go into the alpha channel here. Click this on. Bring in that same logo. And yes, and now you'll notice we've actually got our logo in there. And when we drop it on, we have the PNG, meaning it's doing exactly what it should do. There is transparency on the outside of it, and there is color driven from the texture in the color field there. But obviously, we're not gonna see anything. If we add a light, you can kind of see what's going on here. No, sorry, it's completely transparent, so that doesn't do us much good, right? So what we then can do is kind of go over here into the viewport, and the first thing we're going to do is get rid of tile. Well, actually, the first thing that's going on is this thing is on UVW mapping, so it's basically just shrink wrapping the entire sphere with the logo. Okay, well, we don't want that, so let's get rid of the texture for a second, and let's make this editable. Most of the time, you're going to want your logo placed right on the front, so let's just add it only to that face of the sphere, and that polygon now has that on it, has the New Balance logo. We might want to adjust the logo or the sphere a little bit to make it look good. And obviously we're just adjusting the front polygon, so I didn't adjust the whole sphere. That's okay for the purposes of this tutorial. So what we're going to want to do is go back into our material, and actually what we're going to want to do is add a new material. So in this case I created just a color material. It's just this red. And what we're going to do is we're just going to drop this now onto the cube. You'll see it replaces the logo, but if we swap these, now we are seeing the logo with a red background. So there is no transparency going on. Okay, and we can do this. Now you start to see all the different color combinations we can have. So if we bring back up New Balance, and let's say we're going to clear that out of there. Okay, so it just defaults to white. Now I can pick any color I want for my New Balance logo, which is pretty cool. So that's pretty cool. Now, if you don't want to shrink wrap it, if you wanted to do something a little bit different with the logo, you might have to, let's say you wanted to do a frontal. Now this is going to take the full size image and bring it in. You're going to have to do some adjustments to get it to look perfect. So in this case I can adjust the length, which is basically the size, and this is where you're going to want to turn tile off, and adjust the size there, and then we can reposition it, because let's say I don't want it to be the full size of my sphere. I want it to just be kind of central right there. Okay, so now I've done that just by using this frontal projection, because it's a flat front. But you'll notice that this actually now moves with the object. So you probably don't want that. What you're going to want to do is do flat. And now it's going to be fixed to the object. It's going to get a little bit smaller, so we might have to adjust the size a little bit more. But you'll see this is really just, I'm not giving you guys a concrete, run and gun kind of a tutorial here. This is just really how you use this for your own purposes. So now you see we've got the logo right where we want it. So those are the projections I use most commonly. I mean, depending on what kind of object you have, if you've got a cylinder, you're going to probably want to wrap it cylindrically. Spherical, try the spherical projection, and just get comfortable with all of those depending on what kind of a object you're using. So that's been just a quick tutorial on logo placement. If you got any questions, please leave them in the comments. Thanks.